Hi, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. In today's video tutorial, I will be sharing with you how to draft a foundation pattern that represents the sport of curling. Okay, I have opened my Winter Olympics project and I'm going to select Design a Block from Scratch. And I'm going to do a new block piece, EasyDraw, and I'm going to go to the tracing image and select Import Image. And I've downloaded the image that's in your email, and I'm going to select it and select Open. And no need to do any cropping, so I will do OK. And I'm going to make that just a little bit darker so I can see the lines. And I will go to the drawing tools, and I'm going to use a block width and height of 12, snaps of 4 by 4. I'm not going to turn those on, so I just wanted a small number. No graph paper cells. And for snapping options, I'm going to principally use snap to lines and arcs of drawing. So I'm going to start with that being the only one on. So the first thing that I want to do is show you the sectioning that I decided to use for this particular quilt. And so I will use my line tool, and the first thing I'm going to do is break the curler into sort of a top and a bottom section. And then I realized that I needed to break the bottom into 2 sections. And for the top, I have the top part of the body, which actually can be 1 section. But then for the legs, I needed to break that into 2 sections. So I have a total of 5 sections. And now that I've defined that, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the project sketchbook. So I'm going to start with the top section, and I'm going to work from the outside in. And so this would be my last piece that's going to go on. And then I'm going to trace this, the outside, just along the block. And I'm going to zoom in for the rest of these. And so that will be the next one. And then I can work on the shirt. So hopefully you're recognizing that the first one is going to be one of these 3. And once those are built, everything else in this section can build on that. So let me go to the Color tab and color this particular image. And at this point, I will select Add to Project Sketchbook. So now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to work on the next section. So I'm going to go back to the Draw tab. I'll start by creating 2 sections for the first leg. And then for the second leg, I'll start by drawing the long line, and then I will break the back leg into 3 additional pieces. And now I'm going to go to the Color tab again, and I'm going to color this part of the curler. And I can add to the project sketchbook. So now I'm going to go back to the draw section, and I'm going to draw the rest of the arm, and I'm going to zoom in for that. And notice I have snap to nodes and snap to lines on, both of which I want in drawing these 2 line segments because I want to connect up. Now I can turn off snap to node to draw the forearm. And I will go to the Color tab and color that. And I can add to the project sketchbook. And so now I'll go back to the Draw tab and draw the last section. So let me zoom out and zoom in on the final part of the block. And again, I'm going to start with my last piece and work my way in. For those that are going to touch nodes, I turn on Snap to Node. So I have that on in addition to Snap to Arc. And then I will turn it off when I don't need that particular feature. Otherwise, particularly when I start getting close to the nodes, I run the risk that EQ will snap there rather than to that line or arc. So let me zoom in. And I need to make sure all of my lines connect to another line when I'm drawing. And once that's done, I can zoom back out and go to the Color tab. Oh, and I think I missed a piece there, so let me go back to the Draw tab. Let me zoom in again. Actually, it looks like it didn't connect to the line, so I'm going to do a Snap to Node and Snap to Line and redraw that line. And let's take another look. Okay, that looks better. And now I'm going to do a print and export, and I'll go to the foundation, and I definitely need to do some resectioning. So I'm going to select Start Over. I actually am fine with what they did here, but let me just go ahead and select all those pieces again and do a group. And then I want this to be another section. Group. This will be one section. This will be the other one, and then all of this should be able to be one section. And I'll go to the numbering and just take a look. I always like to look at what's number 1 and see if I agree. And I think that looks, yeah, I probably will change this one here because I will make this one number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now that I'm done, I can select Finish, and then in my options, if I use a 6-inch block size, I'm going to do a preview, and I can move those, and they all actually look really good. So I think that's going to be fine, and I can close. Now, when I did a preview, that actually saved everything that I've done. So now that I've done that, I am going to go back to the Draw tab. I'm realizing I should have made this an EasyDraw plus Applique block, and I can't really just copy and paste this because it's really going to be hard to get everything centered and lined up with the edges of the block. So I have a trick that I want to share with you, and I'm going to go ahead and do a new block, and I'm going to do a pieced EasyDraw block. I'm going to go ahead and color it. So it's basically a blank block, and I'm going to add that to the project sketchbook. Now it's going to ask if I want to keep a blank block in there, and I'm going to say okay. So I'm going to say yes. So now I'm going to do a new block, and I'm going to select Create Serendipity, and I'm going to select the style Merge Blocks. On the left for my background block, the last one listed is my new block, and I'm going to select that. On the right, I'm going to select the last one that I drew, which is the curler without the face. And so I'm going to click on select that and select Add to Sketchbook and close it. Now when I view my project sketchbook and find my last block and select Edit, notice that it is an EasyDraw and Applique block. So I've got everything lined up exactly the way it should be, and I can go to the Applique tab, I can select the shapes, select the circle, and I'll draw a circle, and if I want to change the shape, I can use the pick tool and I can make it a little bit more of an oval. And I'm going to even turn off the Hide Show Autofill so I can get the size the way I want it. And once I like that, I can go to the Color tab and I can color the face, and I can add this to the project sketchbook. Now, one thing I also wanted to show you is if I do a print and export from here and select foundation, basically because I've added that circle, EQ is saying that it is too complex to section and number. So I can start over and resection everything and renumber everything, or I can just keep my old version of the block that has all the sectioning number, keep this so I also have a way to get at that face. So just wanted you to be aware that's one of the downsides when you add Applique, is that it really does force you to do the sectioning and numbering yourself. So anyway, I will close this and I'm ready to close EQ. Thanks so much for watching. For additional tips and techniques, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com. And while you are there, check out my other EQ training programs about learning electric quilt the easy peasy way.